All right, joined with me right now on Discord is Wolverthor. And what's up, Wolverthor?
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Okay, so I was in the middle of moving, so I wasn't able to get involved with this. But our understanding is you were on the ISO 8 blue second tier playtest server.
Yes. Yeah, I got a chance to do this one. Did the last one too, so was somewhat familiar with it.
Okay. And I was invited, but you see, my life is over the top here between moving and everything, and so I didn't get a chance to get involved. But I'm gonna pick your brain, and so this information was you were just allowed to start talking about this just like an hour or so ago, right?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Anything but the economy, but it was kind of a false economy anyway, so there's not much to talk about there anyway.
Okay, but the mechanics. We're gonna go over. You said that you said the Fortifier sucks, but we're gonna get through it. First things first. Are you excited about it?
Given my psi, that probably answers the question. I'm not stoked. I think that the biggest thing that I noticed in this was that you don't really feel a difference until you get to level 4 or 5. And given the quantities that were required in tier 1 or the green tier, I'm assuming it's going to be typical in tier 2.
Okay.
And follow that same pattern. So it's probably going to be hard to get to. So that gets me a little concerned.
Yeah, and I don't expect anything new to be easy. I mean, they definitely want it to be difficult for a long time. You know, like how many characters can you take to 15 right now? 10? You know, or 20? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's not meant to be like everybody's going to do it on every character, right? It's meant to last a long time so people have something to do for a long time. So,
Correct.
So I guess my first question is, do you have to be at ISO level 5 green?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So you have to be at ISO level 5 to go to blue ISO, right?
Correct. So you got to get all of those crystals and fusions done, which is not cheap.
No, going that last tier, going from 4 to 5 is very painful. Okay, so you said Fortifier is one of the worst ones, and that's what we're going to talk about first.
Well, it was prior to this. Personally, I think it's one of the ones that got better, but given the fact that it was so low, I like what happened. So that you get some additional barrier on spawn, which I liked to the level 1. The level 2 is your normal HP jump. The part that I started liking was even at level 3, where they created something called minor defense up.
Okay.
And I like that it's on any ally's turn. So if it gets cleared, if another ally
so
goes
what is
before you,
minor
can get it back.
what is minor defense up? Is that like a 25%?
Yes.
So that is basically just a flat 25% damage reduction. Is that correct? Because that's the way defense up works, right?
Yeah, the way I understand it, it's that way.
Okay. So barrier on spawn, max health, minor defense up, and that goes to if this character has barrier, gain minor defense and barrier on spawn, gain 10% max health, damage, armor, focus, and resistance at ISO 4. So going to T level 4 gives a stat boost rather than just health, like I'm in the way. People can't see it. So going to level 4, you get 10% max health, damage, armor, and focus and resistance. So that was different. On level 4 on the regular ISO was just max health.
That's right. And that to me is one of the best things in ISO tier 2 or tier blue or whatever we're going to call it, was that level 4. I liked that the most, and you definitely noticed that jump.
Okay. And then the final form is 4,000 armor, which basically is without piercing, armor is just flat damage reduction, right? Of incoming damage. Is that correct? Okay, so like if someone does an attack that is supposed to be 10,000 damage, 4,000 armor just makes it 6,000 damage, is the way my understanding that armor works.
Yeah, and the truth is, I actually don't know the exact math of that. You'd think I would. I don't. But
my understanding is nobody truly knows the formula on it. And no, that's not true. I've seen the formula before, and I was like, boy, what's the practical application of that formula? And everybody's just like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one. The next one I've got on the screen here is Striker. So again, starting at the top, 5% damage, 10% max health. So this is kind of in line with the green. And then on primary hit, if the target is vulnerable with a duration of 2+, steal 2% of this target's max health from the primary. So this is, oh God. So we got health steal right there.
Yeah, and honestly, it's only 2%. I felt like the intent here was nice, the design intent, if you will. But I mean, you've got to have the two stacks of vulnerable on them, and then you only steal 2%. I don't know. I didn't feel a difference with that, honestly.
Okay, because you're going to be clearing. You're going to be clearing a stack of vulnerable when this happens.
I'm hoping that they factor the lifesteal in prior to any of that.
Okay, and let me ask you this also. This may not be the absolute final form. That was that was the purpose of the playtest, is just to give the get feedback, and then also this definitely shows the direction, because there were changes because I remember the first well, there was more than one playtest for ISO. There was 2 playtests last time. And it did change, and I was actually pretty happy with the final form that they made changes, and it seemed like the changes were in the right direction. And so this may get altered. Some of this might be minor tweaks, right?
Correct.
Okay. So the health, then when you go to level 5, it bumps up to steal 8%. So it's a total of 10%, right? When you're in the 5th form. Yeah.
Right. But that's okay.
That's a meaningful amount, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, depending on the striker and their speed, I'm less excited. Like if for some reason call Obsidian, he's been a striker for many people.
No, but it's going to be like Doom and Silver Surfer, maybe even Thanos, right? When think about Thanos, Thanos is helpful. All those guys, right? And Silver Surfer's lightning fast, right? And he's going to be, and then he's passively healing anyways. Now he's just going to wreck nerds more, right? This is crazy, right?
Totally agreed there. Totally agreed.
All right, let's go through the next one. The next one that we have is the healer. All right, so gain extra healing, active healing, max health. On turn, apply regeneration instead of minor regeneration. Oof.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
And then max, and then the final version, on primary hit, apply regeneration to the lowest health ally. Heal that ally for 5% of this character's max health. Gain 10% damage. Why would they give damage on... That's interesting, right?
Yeah, the healer was a little bit weird for me. I liked the, minor or regular regen versus minor. Okay, fine. There was some clearing bleeds at the bottom of that text a little bit, where you're going to, on primary hit, if somebody has a vulnerable, you're going to go ahead and clear some bleeds. So there's a cleanse there, which is pretty nice. That was on level 3. And then as you get to level 5, it's interesting because there are some additional similar like clears there where you're talking about healing additional ally and also clearing more. But I don't know. For whatever reason, I just was like, okay, healer's kind of just more the same. It's not bad. It's fine. That was my taste of it, or my flavor for it. Okay,
and then we're gonna go to Skirmisher, because this is what you were just talking about, right? Where there's Okay, so Skirmisher, I saw this one, and I was looking at primary hair applied to vulnerable, so that's good. We're gonna have to count stacks of vulnerable, especially with the strikers, right? And then it says same thing, extra focus, so that would be a total of 100 focus. Max health, damage, armor, focus, and resistance. And the level 5 right here, on primary hit, flip positive effect to bleed. Instead of clearing, because right now what it clears 2, right? So this is gonna make them bleeds instead. So this is gonna be a boost on the damage. Wow.
Yeah, I liked that one. I thought it was pretty nice. Like I was saying, everything from level 4 to 5, and pretty much all the abilities are pretty good, or all the classes.
So this is going to be very powerful. Very powerful.
Oh, yeah. There was a significant difference noticed from level 4 to 5. 3, it was okay. Not bad, but 4 to 5, I was digging what was happening there for sure.
Okay, and then we're gonna talk about Raider, and then I'm gonna ask for your takeaway and which one you were the most impressed with after we go over Raider. So Raider, crit chance, crit damage, max health, chance to attack for 30 on active ability, 20% chance to the target for 30% piercing. Then you get, and then the last was a chance to change to bonus attack, piercing on bonus attack. So what? Is he gonna double tap now? What is going on here?
Yeah, but it's only a 20% chance, and it's 30% piercing. Honestly, Raider was probably the one that I liked the least.
Okay.
I just, I get the piercing sexy and it's nice and all that, but when I see a 20% chance on something, I'm not factoring that into much. It's
no,
too
that's
low of a
not
percentage.
very much. It's but when you go to level 5, it's a 40% chance, right?
Right. So you will get it. I mean, it's almost half the time.
And so piercing is a raw damage number that bypasses armor. So we were talking about the ISO. There was that 4,000 extra armor, which is basically a damage reduction. Piercing negates armor. Basically, it goes through armor. Armor doesn't factor into it. It's like true damage, if you will. I don't know. There's different ways of talking about it in other games.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk. Which one were you the most impressed with?
I was only because it was so bad before. I liked seeing Fortifier get some love. Again, I think I don't want to say it was my favorite, but it was the one I was happiest to see improved. So just even though it's only a minor defense up, I felt like it was moving in the right direction. So once we get to ISO, tier 3 purple, I feel like, okay, yeah, it makes sense to get to, ISO to build a Fortifier. And even at these level 2s, I like seeing this barrier gain. So I think probably that one, just because of the low bar it had before, I felt like it brought it to a more useful ISO class.
Well, and let's talk about this. Barrier is capped, initially like raw at 30% of the max health, right? So gaining 10% max barrier is a big deal.
It's huge. That's
yeah,
gigantic.
It's huge. It's huge because you're basically going from a 30% to 40% max health before, because that was one of the things that kind of made barrier kind of like a weird mechanic. It was only going to be it would cap out at 30% of the character's max health. Now we can do 40%, so that's kind of a big deal. What was the next one that you thought was the most interesting?
I think probably the Skirmisher, just with some of those bleed flips. I liked the additional focus. What's it get to eventually 100% on that primary? I mean, that's fantastic. You love seeing that. The additional vulnerables. Those were probably the things I liked the most there. Instead of clearing a positive effect, to be able to get additional damage from, a character like this, where you are normally just trying to get those vulnerables out there. I liked that. I liked seeing that. And again, a lot of people I know, have gone Skirmisher route for some characters because they need to land more debuffs. And the next tier helps do that even further.
Okay. And we're going to wrap up with the video. Of course, I think for a lot of people, this discussion is going to leave more questions unanswered than answered, because most of the questions is going to come down to the economy and costs and how hard it's going to be to get. And so please understand, I understand everybody's skepticism. I'm skeptical too, right? So this is kind of what they're not addressing that at all at this time. They're just basically the purpose of this test was just to check the mechanics and not the economy or any of that stuff.
That's exactly right.
Where's your level of skepticism on this?
Outside of the economy, there were some quality of life issues. And now, granted, remember, the economy we got allowed us to upgrade things quicker, but it did start to feel a little bit cumbersome in that situation. Granted, when you don't have as many, so I'd like to see some quality of lives where, if you're just looking at the class and you have enough crystals to upgrade to level 3 or level 4, I can just automatically equip those crystals and get that level. That's a simple quality of life thing. It's kind of like the equip all with your gear. That's, again, quality of life. But as far as the actual game dynamics of it, it's just, I think people are going to be likely, I hate to say this, but, we talked about it early on, but the game is meant to be slow, for lack of a better word. It's meant to be drawn out, unless you want to pay money. So people are going to want to upgrade quicker. They're going to find it hard to get some of these items, and then they're going to go, well, I want to get this quicker, and that's going to be frustrating. But I think if we remember, like, you just play it out. This is meant to be here for, I don't remember when ISO tier 1 came out, but a year or whatever it's going to be.
And we knew this was coming for a while. We knew something was coming. I mean, it was in the data mine. We just knew it for a long time. And for me, I always take issue with progression systems, right? That a lot of times progression systems, and I've seen this mostly in other games where, okay, well, we'll use Marvel Strike Force. What if they came out with blue stars? What if they just go up to level 80? What if they go gear tier 16? That really does nothing for the community. It's literally just a money bag for them, right? It's a progression systems for the sakes of progression systems are not good. So the one thing I have to say about ISO 8, it's actually a new gameplay mechanic.
Yeah, and one of the things that I tried to do was I wanted to upgrade my ISOs on the teams before upgrading any of their gear and test them in Doom.
Okay.
To see if I felt a difference. And I did. And I did like seeing that. So that if anyone wants to hold on to some excitement, so to speak, if things stay the way they are, this will help you in raids. I'm not saying it's better than Gear Tier 14 or 15 or anything like that, but I did feel a difference on those nodes.
Okay. Anything you want to say before you go? Are you going to make a video about this? I can link people to the video if you get a link for it.
Probably not. Just got this second COVID shot, so I'm a little just recovering from that. I just want to say you deserve this, and we love you.
Oh, well, thank you. There's a story behind it. All right, guys. Link to Wolver Thor's channel is in the description. And as always, thanks for watching and love to hear your feedback on whether you're excited about this or not. Bye for now.
That's the way every day goes, looking back